Due to some unusual circumstances, WSU has found itself at the forefront of the accessibility ramp up that will be affecting every college and university across the country within the next few years. Accessibility refers to the ability for everyone, regardless of disability or special needs, to access, use, and benefit from everything within their environment. It's the degree to which a product, device, service, or environment is available to as many people as possible. The goal of accessibility is to create an inclusive society for people with physical, mobility, visual, auditory, or cognitive disabilities. This means everyone has equal access to perceive, understand, engage, navigate, and interact with all elements of the physical and digital world. Even with some additional lead time, however, for classes that use image-heavy materials such as graphic novels, the onus will fall on the instructor to find ways to make the works they teach accessible. For graphic novels and comics, a larger and larger part of the English and popular cultural classes, this poses a real difficulty, as most of these are not currently in an accessible format. This is largely because the producers of these works, publishers like Fantagraphics and Image Comics, are primarily concerned with printing and distributing works with a very narrow profit threshold. While it's important for these companies to have the consistent sales that come from academic use of some of their works, they typically don't devote the time and money to make the works accessible, to say nothing of their large catalogs of previously published works. Graphic novels and comics won't be the only ones to have to figure out solutions for their products. Any textbook or image-based material that isn't accessible will either have to be converted by the instructor or the institution. Michael Cole, after going so far as to contact the author of one of the most widely adopted graphic novels in the country, Fun Home, ran into this and had to go through a page-by-page, 232 pages, to write descriptions for every single panel. And Darren Dufresne recently did a review of a new composition textbook for Bedford St. Martin that relied heavily on images. At the end of the review, he asked what the press planned to do about accessibility issues before the launch, and they confessed no one had brought that up. In short, this is a rapidly growing problem for the textbook and publishing industry, and many will likely be completely unprepared or at best underprepared. So what is needed? If the image is essential to the work, simply explaining the action on the page is not enough. For someone with visual accessibility issues to understand a graphic narrative or complex image, they need to understand the image on several levels. Comics are written in a combination of two languages, visual language and written verbal language. While it's relatively simple to make the written language accessible, it's much more difficult to make the images accessible. At a bare minimum, any translation of these images must include a narrative translation and a narrative grammar translation. Leaning on the work being done in visual rhetoric and visual linguistics, we plan to give a full rendering of each image, create a tactile experience where readers using a tablet could orient the image and better understand mise-en-page, and take the opportunity to code each image so that it will be searchable in digital humanities databases. Our pitch then is to create a company that converts images and image-based material to be accessible for educational purposes. We plan to contact graphic novel houses, publishers, first, and then extend our services to textbook companies as well. Eventually, this could be an in-house enterprise that offers jobs and intern opportunities for students in the humanities, fine arts, and computer sciences.